Hi, and good morning. I just want to show you a really quick way of transferring an image or a line art onto your paper before you start drawing. So if you don't want to freehand, or if you don't want to grid, or if you don't have a projector, another really good way of getting your initial outline onto your paper is to use a transfer paper. So I'm using something called Tracedown. It's a graphite backed transfer paper. I've got my printout here, a bit of an old one because we've got a bit of a tea stain here, but what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be transferring this image onto the paper behind. So I've got a sheet of it's just white Hahnemuhle Nostalgia behind it. I've got my printout on like a bit of a hinge, just with 2 bits of tape at the top, and I have my graphite transfer paper here. Now you can see you've got one side that's graphite and you've got one side that isn't. It's quite messy, so it kind of does get everywhere, so you have to be really careful with it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it over so that the graphite part is facing the paper that I want the image to go down onto. I'm going to lift my hinge up from my drawing and I'm going to sit my graphite paper down on top of the paper, and then I'm going to bring my drawing back again over the top of it, so it's like a sandwich, and I've got my trace down paper underneath upside down so that the graphite bit is sitting against the paper I want to use. I am then going to use, you can use anything you like. I'm going to use an embossing tool. You can use a really sharp pencil, you can use a biro, anything really that you're going to be able to get your outline down. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to trace it round the image. I'm using quite hard pressure on this purely because this is quite thick paper. So I'm just going to do a little bit, and then I'm just going to lift both of them up. And I can see, actually, even though I've been pressing really hard, I've hardly got an indent on there. So that's not bad, because I don't want it to be really dark. So I can go a little bit heavier if I want to. And I'm just going to quickly, you can put loads and loads of detail in if you want, but I'm just going to quickly bring in a rough outline of this little fjord foal. This is a photograph by Elizabeth Ergar, and this is actually a tutorial that I created last year. It's over on my Patreon, but I just thought I'd use this one as a good example of how to lay or create your initial outline, you know, if you don't have a projector, or you know, if you don't want to freehand, or you don't want to use the grid system. And you can be as detailed as you like or as basic as you like. So all you need is a printer. It doesn't even have to be a decent printer, just a printer to sort of print out your initial image, and then the transfer paper. The transfer paper is not overly expensive. I use the Frisk one. You can buy it from Amazon. You can buy it from art shops. You know, it's a good product. It is a little bit messy, but you know, it means that you can get your outline down really quickly on the page, and then you can start to draw. Now, you know, there is obviously nothing beats being able to draw freehand, of course. And what I'm not saying is, you know, you should use this method for everything, because I think drawing freehand is a really good way of developing your skills. But this method is actually it actually will help you to build your skills in understanding perspective, you know, all of that type of thing, and getting everything in the correct places. So there's definitely a place for this as a tool when you're drawing. So right, so we can see that she's got a very light outline there. Now I would be really happy without that outline. It's quite basic, you know, it's quite light, but I might need to just darken this area up a little bit here. But it's going to give you a really good basis then to start and create your drawing. So that's a really nice way of just getting, a very quick way of just getting a very simple outline down on your paper. You know, I haven't put a huge amount of details in there. You're going to have to use a lot of skill to be able to make anything of this, but everything's kind of in the right place. Everything's sort of there, ready for you to make a start on.